Today, we'll be looking at the anatomy and physiology of the human kidney. Before we dive into the kidneys themselves, let's briefly remind ourselves about the urinary system. The urinary system is one of the major systems of the human body. It is responsible for the production, storage, and excretion of urine. As you can see on your screen, the urinary system is made up of 2 kidneys, 2 ureters, 1 urinary bladder, and 1 urethra. All of these organs work together to ensure the effective production and elimination of urine from the body. The kidneys are responsible for producing urine. They filter the blood, remove waste products, and reabsorb substances that the body still needs. After urine is produced, it travels through these tube-like structures called the ureters, which carry the urine into the urinary bladder. The urinary bladder acts as a temporary storage site for urine until it is convenient for the body to expel it. Finally, urine leaves the body through the urethra, which is the outlet that communicates with the external environment. Now that we have a brief understanding of the urinary system, let's move on to our main topic, the anatomy and physiology of the kidneys. In this lesson, we will be looking at the position of the kidneys, the organs related to the kidneys, the gross anatomy of the kidneys, and finally, the functions and physiology of the kidneys. So, let's get started. Position of the kidneys. The kidneys are described as retroperitoneal organs because they are located behind the peritoneum of the abdominal cavity. As you can see in the illustration, the kidneys lie on the posterior abdominal wall and extend approximately from the level of the 12th thoracic vertebra, or T12, to the 3rd lumbar vertebra, or L3. Because of this position, the upper parts of the kidneys receive some protection from the lower ribs. You may also notice that the right kidney is slightly lower than the left kidney. And why is that? This is because the liver occupies a large amount of space on the right side of the abdomen and pushes the right kidney downward. Organs in relation to the kidneys. Let's now look at the organs surrounding the kidneys. Starting with the right kidney. The right kidney is related superiorly to the right adrenal gland, anteriorly to the right lobe of the liver, the duodenum, and the hepatic flexure of the colon. Posteriorly, it is related to the muscles of the posterior abdominal wall. Now let's look at the left kidney. The left kidney is related superiorly to the left adrenal gland, anteriorly to the stomach, the spleen, the pancreas, the jejunum, and the splenic flexure of the colon. Posteriorly, it is also related to the muscles of the posterior abdominal wall. The kidneys are closely surrounded by several important organs. This is clinically important because diseases or injuries involving one organ may sometimes affect neighboring structures. Gross anatomy of the kidney. Now, let's focus on the kidney itself. The kidney is a reddish-brown, bean-shaped organ. An average adult kidney measures approximately 10 to 12 centimeters in length, 5 to 7 centimeters in width, and about 3 centimeters in thickness. Each kidney weighs approximately 120 to 170 grams. Although the kidneys are relatively small, they perform some of the most important functions in the human body. External features of the kidney. As you can see in the illustration, the renal artery enters the kidney, bringing oxygenated blood to be filtered. The renal vein leaves the kidney, carrying filtered blood back into circulation. The ureter also leaves the kidney, carrying urine toward the urinary bladder. Together, these structures form what is called the renal pedicle. Coverings of the kidney. The kidneys are protected by several layers. The first layer is the fibrous capsule. This is a thin but tough layer that directly surrounds the kidney, and helps protect it from injury and infection. The second layer is the perirenal fat, also called the adipose capsule. This layer acts like a cushion, protecting the kidneys from trauma and helping keep them in position. The third layer is the renal fascia. This connective tissue layer anchors the kidneys to surrounding structures. Outside these layers lies additional fat called the pararenal fat, which provides further protection. Internal structure of the kidney. Now let's cut the kidney open and look inside. As you can see in the cross-sectional diagram, the kidney consists of three major regions: the renal cortex, the renal medulla, and the renal pelvis. Let's discuss each one. The renal cortex. The renal cortex is the outer region of the kidney. It appears darker and contains millions of microscopic filtering units called nephrons. A significant amount of blood filtration begins here. The renal medulla. Deep to the cortex lies the renal medulla. The medulla is composed of cone-shaped structures called the renal pyramids. These pyramids have a striped appearance because they contain numerous tubules and blood vessels. The broad base of each pyramid faces the cortex, while the pointed tip, known as the renal papilla, points toward the center of the kidney. Renal columns. Between the renal pyramids are extensions of cortical tissue called the renal columns. These columns separate the pyramids and provide pathways for blood vessels. Minor calyces and major calyces. At the tip of each renal papilla is a cup-shaped structure called a minor calyx. Several minor calyces join together to form a major calyx. Think of these structures as collecting funnels that gather urine from the pyramids. The renal pelvis. The major calyces unite to form the renal pelvis, which is a funnel-shaped chamber located in the center of the kidney. The renal pelvis then narrows and continues as the ureter. Therefore, the pathway of urine is renal papilla to minor calyx to major calyx to renal pelvis, and finally to the ureter. Understanding this pathway is very important because it explains how urine leaves the kidney. Functions of the kidneys. The kidneys do much more than simply produce urine. They perform several vital functions. Number 1, excretion of waste products. The kidneys remove substances such as urea, uric acid, creatinine, and toxins. Number 2, regulation of water balance. The kidneys determine how much water the body retains and how much is excreted. Number 3, regulation of electrolytes. They control the levels of sodium, potassium, calcium, and many other important ions. Number 4, regulation of blood pressure. The kidneys produce an enzyme called renin, which helps regulate blood pressure. Number 5, maintenance of acid-base balance. The kidneys help maintain the normal pH of the blood. Number 6, production of red blood cells. The kidneys produce a hormone called erythropoietin, which stimulates the bone marrow to produce red blood cells. Number 7, activation of vitamin D. The kidneys convert vitamin D into its active form, which is essential for calcium absorption and healthy bones. And there you have it, the anatomy and physiology of the human kidneys. The kidneys may be small organs, but they are absolutely essential for life. If you enjoyed this lesson and learned something new, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our health education videos. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay healthy, stay curious, and keep learning.